that we've talked about the cardio myth, the other thing I want to talk about is that literally everyone is overtraining. Everyone is overtraining. All these people that come to me that are currently involved in fitness, they're overtraining. It's 5 days a week, it's 6 days a week, it's I lift weights, it's 3 days a week, and then the other days I do cardio, and then on Saturday I do yoga, and I do this, and it's like, I get the idea of moving every day and all that, but this like intense training every day is simply overtraining. It's not good for your body. And I want to talk about two things, and I know I'm going to get hate mail or whatever. Don't kill me for this, right? Beachbody and CrossFit. I get asked specifically about these. I got a lot of questions today about Beachbody. Got a lot of questions about CrossFit. Beachbody, you know what I love about Beachbody? Shaun T. Shaun T. He's an amazing dude. He's absolutely incredible. I did the Insanity program 4 times. I did his Insanity 30-day max or whatever he came out with. And Abel James is a good buddy of mine. He's known as the Fat Burning Chef. Abel sat down with Shaun T. Shaun T is so open-minded as a dude. It's amazing. There's a great little article that Abel put up called Shaun T puts butter in his coffee, right? That goes against every single nutrition rule that Beachbody has ever put out. I did P90X, I did P90X2, I did P90X3, I did P90X30, whatever it was, 30-day thing. I did Insanity, all these things back when I didn't know better. I was like eating Subway and working out 6 times a week and going, why am I not getting skinny? Damn you, Beachbody, right? But the programs were you know, pretty cool, but they're overtraining. An hour and a half a day at P90X is absolutely overtraining. It's fun, it's motivational, it's all that, I get it. But what happens is you get stuck in this mindset of this calendar. Right, so now you have this Beachbody calendar that's staring at you every day, this new 80-day obsession thing. It's like an hour a day, right? You don't need to be doing that. And what happens if you miss a day? You feel guilty. I get stories from people who miss a day, they start over. I missed a day, I screwed up the whole thing. Oh God, well I'm just gonna quit the rest of this week and then I'll start day 1 again on Monday. It's this vicious cycle. They know what they're doing. They're manipulating you, okay? Think about that behavior. You're getting manipulated. And their nutrition plan is shit. And their products and supplements are shit. Okay? It's this fitness first approach of like, we're gonna crush, exercise more, eat less, and take our $130 a month shake that tastes pretty terrible, and you're gonna get results. And then when you don't get results, what? You see the testimonies on their sales pages, on their website, you see their before and after videos, you see their testimonies, these are all the ingredients in our shake, and you feel bad about yourself. They are preying on you. That is predator behavior. It's predator behavior. This doesn't work for you? Nuh-uh. Look at all these other people it worked for. They must have done it right and you must have done it wrong. Tough shit, dummy. That's what they're doing to you. It's really crazy. And I was caught in this. I did this. Like I said, there's nothing I recommend that I haven't done. There's nothing that I shit on that I haven't done. Trust me. I've been on that treadmill for hours. I've eaten brown rice and tilapia 6 times a day. I've paid a shitload of money to personal trainers to try to cut my body fat, and none of them ever worked for me ever and told me to try harder. I've been there. I was a fat kid. Didn't want to take my shirt off to go swimming. I was that guy. I've been there with you. All of this. The good, the bad, the ugly. I've been there with you, okay? So if it ever feels like I'm yelling at you, I'm yelling at the universe for what I've been through, okay? Think about it that way. This stuff is just, this overtraining approach is completely unnecessary. And the other thing is, let me break into some science of what actually happens here, because CrossFit is notorious for this too. You're training 5 days a week, 6 days a week, you're doing regionals, and you're repeating regionals over and over to get a better score, you're doing this, that, the other thing, right? You're spiking your cortisol levels and your muscles never get a chance to recover. So this is why, and I get a lot of hell for this term, but I use the term pleasantly plump CrossFitters. There are a lot of pleasantly plump CrossFitters because CrossFit has this weird thing where they like glorify bad nutrition, right? It's like donuts and deadlifts, or carb front loading before a workout, or carb back loading. Let's go eat pizza after because we deserve it, or CrossFit events where they're hosted by caterers with cupcakes, and there's some crazy shit going on in the CrossFit world in terms of nutrition. And it's just notoriously bad because it's a fitness first approach. It's the idea that you can burn off a bad diet. You cannot burn off a bad diet. We talked about glycolytic, we talked about anaerobic, we talked about aerobic. You can't burn off a bad diet. It's just not going to happen. So the other thing to remember with Beachbody and CrossFit is the risk of injury. So with CrossFit, now let me be very clear. I know a lot of CrossFitters that I love. I know a lot of CrossFit gym owners who are fantastic. They're incredible coaches. They don't let somebody who's not ready, they don't put a barbell in their hands. They teach perfect programming. They don't do things like this. One of the highest risks of injury is taking a complicated move, adding weight, and adding speed, right? So we're gonna do overhead snatches for time. That's insane. Unless you're trying to get to the CrossFit Games and you're planning on competing, for an average person to just be healthy, that's insane. So I know a lot of CrossFit owners and gyms who have actually banned this type of thing. They will not allow you to do really complicated, what's called Olympic lifts for time, for speed, for reps, whatever. They just won't do it. It's, you know, you might do a couple of reps at a heavy weight and then you're resting 3 to 5 minutes. You know, they're okay, we're trying to get your Olympic lift up. That's great, right? Awesome. So the other thing with Beachbody is low weight, high reps is also the fastest way to failure, where you're just fatiguing your muscle. And women always do this because they're afraid they're gonna bulk up. Let me tell you something. You guys have been watching me for the last 22 days. What do I look like? I've been eating 3,500 calories a day, trying my absolute best to gain as much weight as possible. And I look pretty much the same. Have I gained some muscle? Yes, I have. But trust me, girls, you're not gonna get bulky from lifting weights. This is a myth. Nutrition can get you bulky combined with lifting weights, but you're not, if you're doing high weight, low rep, which is what you should be doing for proper resistance training, not this low weight, high rep until your muscles are so sore you're screaming, don't do that stuff anymore. It's actually really dangerous and you're not gonna bulk up from weightlifting. So I'm gonna show you the number one issue that I have with fitness combined with nutrition. This is the idea that carbohydrates are required for performance. Nothing could be further from the truth. And there's actually a great example of this because Rob Wolf just interviewed him. His name's Dr. Sean Baker. Dr. Sean Baker was also on the Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours. Dr. Sean Baker is a carnivore. When I say he's a carnivore, I don't mean an omnivore like you and I, where we eat vegetables and we eat meat. He is a 100% carnivore and has been for 15 months. He eats 4 pounds of meat a day, 0 carbohydrates, and he holds 4 world records in athletic performance. He's about to break another one in 2 weeks. He's going for another world record. The guy deadlifts 500 pounds for 10 reps. He's an absolute savage monster. Hasn't eaten a single carbohydrate in 15 months. And his performance only gets better. Now he has professional athletes all over the world that are repeating this carnivorous diet, getting better and better and better and better and better. The idea, I've been in CrossFit gyms and I've had people look me in the face and tell me if you don't eat carbohydrates, you'll die. Now, when they tell me that, they don't know my background, they don't know who I am, they're just having a conversation, and I don't poop on their parade. I just go, oh man, that's some interesting stuff, and then I walk away and then my head explodes and I die in the parking lot, right? They say carbohydrates are required for human survival. No, not at all. It's the only macronutrient that's not required for human survival. Fat and protein are required for human survival. Without them, you die. Without carbohydrates, you live a long, happy life. You don't need a single carbohydrate for human survival. You absolutely don't. Now, I'm not saying you need to ditch carbohydrates. I eat a ton of vegetables. I think that they're great, right? But I'm just saying this argument is nonsense. So let's talk about the number one tool that I've used. And I actually forgot about this until right now because I had it in the show summary. So I'm just going to have to spitball this one off the top of my head. Dad and I both use this every single day. It's called HRV. This is heart rate variability training. So if you're afraid that you've been overtraining, this is a big question that I get that I was asking myself is, well, how do I know if I'm overtraining, right? How on earth do I know if I'm overtraining? This is a definitive way for you to know. It's called heart rate variability training. Now, I use a Polar H7. The chest strap monitor I recommend now is actually the Polar H10 because I've been doing this for years. So there's an H10 out now. That's how old I am to this thing, right? So you wake up in the morning, put on the Polar H10 now, and I use the Elite HRV app, and that is free. The Elite HRV app measures the milliseconds in between your heartbeats, and it tells you how stressed your body is. So you'll see a curve like this. I'm gonna do it this way because you're reading left to right. There's a curve like this. So there's sympathetic, middle point, parasympathetic. You get a needle and it's red to green or red on both sides and green's in the middle, right? So you may have too much sympathetic nervous system. You might have too much parasympathetic nervous system. Now parasympathetic is your rest and digest, you're calm, that's what you want when you're going to sleep. Your sympathetic is like when you first get out of bed, you get a cortisol spike, that's kind of your fight or flight, right? So this measures where you're at based on feedback from your body. And it will give you a number. Let's say it's a number 3 and it's bright red. You don't train that day, period. Doesn't matter. Your body doesn't care what day of the week it is. This is something I want to drive into people's heads. The human brain has constructed a calendar. It has constructed days. Your internal organs and muscles and tissues don't give a shit about your calendar. They don't care at all. They don't care that Monday's chest day, bro. Monday's chest day. Doesn't matter how I feel. I'll fight through it. Fight through it. If you wake up and you have an HRV of 2 and it's bright red, guess what, dude? You better move chest day to Tuesday because your risk of injury is through the roof right now. Literally through the roof. Now, if you get a perfect 10 HRV and you want to go run sprints and do a CrossFit WOD, cool, congratulations. Go do it, but save it for that day. That's why I never say Monday's this day, Wednesday's this day, and Friday's this day. It doesn't work like that for me. Everything runs off my HRV. I want to tell you about a new tool that's coming out, I guess we'll call it. It's a piece of wearable tech called the Oura Ring. The Oura Ring is amazing. I tested the Oura Ring over a year ago, but it was giant and bulky, and I couldn't really wear it playing piano. It was kind of ugly. They're coming out with a new Oura Ring, I believe in April, that looks like a men's wedding band. It's about that thin, but you can get it in white, pink, whatever you want for girls, and it measures your HRV consistently all throughout the day. It measures your sleep, your deep sleep, your light sleep, your REM sleep. It's the best tracker I've ever seen. I repeat that. The Oura Ring is the best fitness and sleep tracker I've ever seen in my life. I pre-ordered. I got friends to pre-order. When that little one that looks like a wedding band comes out, I cannot wait for that thing. The Oura Ring is amazing. You can check your HRV every day, and it gives you a percentage score of 0 all the way to 100. So if you're at an 87, think of that as like an 8, right? Okay, go train that day. Go have fun. Hit a hard workout. But that's the other thing with this. The mindset of all this is like you wake up, you know, your kid was up screaming until 2 in the morning and you have a Pilates workout scheduled at 6:30 and you wake up and you feel like you're gonna die. Stay in bed. Screw the Pilates class. Whatever. Listen to your body. Because I assure you, if you were measuring your HRV with something like the Oura Ring would tell you that your sleep sucked, you're not well rested, and your HRV is terrible. Don't work out that day. We don't need to guess anymore, everybody. It's 2018. We don't need to guess. I track everything. I quantify as much as I possibly can. I hook electrodes up to my brain so that my meditation is more powerful. Literally. So you're getting feedback. You can get neurofeedback, you can get biological feedback. There's all these different tools you can use to know exactly how your body's feeling that day. All right, so that's my spiel on what everybody is getting wrong with fitness. Let's talk about why. So, how much training is required for fat loss?